Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beavermosh, and today I am talking to you about Monokrator from the London, UK based The Bleeding, and this is a Redefining Darkness Records release. And Monokrator is a severe, blistering death thrash onslaught. Just pure destructive chaos from beginning to end, packed full of fantastic riffs, great leads, and vocals that just scathe with this monstrous aggression. And Monokrator is trim. There is no fat here. It's just 30 killer minutes, no filler. And after those 30 minutes, I just want to hit replay. The thing is so energetic and intense, yet nothing feels exhausting about it. And while this is a pretty straightforward death thrash album in its approach, it still has this heightened musical flexibility, a lot of creative riffs and interesting licks that you don't really expect, and just these very cool musical passages that are pleasantly surprising. On the first track, Chemical Lobotomy, immediately we are hit with these thick, rapidly chainsawing riffs and these scalding old school punkish shouts that get the energy going viciously. This is an album that wastes no time convincing me of The Bleeding's no frills, ultra violent thrash attack. It's just pure aggression delivered with an unhindered momentum that's anything but boring. The lead here has this war-calling scream to it, and then the bass is so lively and punchy and just adds so much dynamics to the music. You can almost feel it trying to out-riff the guitar in a very strategic way. I love how Chainsaw Death Cult just roars in with these churning bass gallops and guitar riptides. And the vocalist has this prickly approach, letting out these nasty snarls and these short, screeching bursts. But The Bleeding also makes use of this slower section on this track in an interesting way. Some really oddball guitar trickery, some interesting hammer-on bits, some slow bends. It's almost psychedelic in the most thrashed way you can get a psychedelic sense across. And I love how this solo is introduced by these absolutely maniacal cackles. It just works so well. Mutation Chamber blends these palm-muted grooves with these kind of funneling licks. The brute start, finesse, finish is a very satisfying approach. There's these cool little flickering guitar acrobatics in this track and also really the album as a whole. It maintains that bass death metal nastiness, but adds a bit of a heightened technicality to that said nastiness. Okay, these climbing, terror-fueled licks on Union of Horror are just so heavy and so theatrical. It's by far my favorite instrumental passage on the record. It's just a prime example of how The Bleeding can be so gnarly and energetic, yet also have these unexpected tricks up their sleeve. You can't hear this and not at least nod your head a little, give a little wink. It's just purely metal as hell. Once again, while the guitar is doing all this, the bass, it just rummages through everything. It's so clear in the mix, and you could feel this forceful path it's on, and it's so determined to finish. And the sweeping hammer-ons on the solo here are so speedy yet satisfyingly lyrical. The leads on this album are just chef's kiss. I really dig these triplet snaps that the drummer does on the snare to get Scream of Torment going, only to use that to introduce the drums going into this monstrous D-beat attack. And then there's this machine gunning like bridge where the whole band slows down but will all at one time come together into these rushing bursts with floor-breaking heaviness. The vocals take on this diseased delivery. It's just really gruesome to listen to. I don't know how they got this sound. It's this really hollow tone. It's just gross in a very pleasant way. The solo here has more of a like pentatonic led approach, almost Jimi Hendrixy, and I'm not gonna complain about that at all. It's just so goddamn fun. On Wings of Tribulation has this chopping march to it, while these devilish flickering guitars just ping like dark messaging right into your brain. And there's almost a black metal like tone with the guitar and vocal pairings, has that trebly airy tone, and it blends really well with the death and thrash elements the band already has setting forward. Also, the vocals lets out this held high pitch squeal that is so convincingly monstrous toward the end of the track. I just had to at least mention that. Throes of Repulsion, the last track, starts off with these slingshotted guitars and maintains this seesawing feel for the remainder of the song. Keeps you on your toes as this track carries you to the conclusion of the record. These slow, muddy bass passages really convince of this dystopic, depressing setting. The band ends the album with such a desolate note. Good on them. The playing from the bleeding on Monokrator is so tight, yet it feels very loose and just nasty. There is this incredible ferocity and intensity, and they have no intention of taming that at all. The leads here are so good, they're so fast, they're so technical, yet have a very unique musical quality and tone. They're just so well composed. This is a record that feels so straightforward, yet it also seems so original and honed in. They really have their sound going for them, and I'm all here for it. Thrash fans, go listen to this. And hey, those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It would mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. I have a Twitter you can follow. There's a link to that in the bio of this YouTube channel. Leave a comment. I love getting to engage with those. And hey, keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beaver Mosh, and I am signing off.